Hello, welcome to chapter 7 of the world's longest suicide note. I thought today I'm sorry, I'm being rude. I'm Roger, and even though that I'm suicidal often, I am not a medical professional, and so that's been said. Alrighty, let's start talking. I thought today we'd talk about actual suicide notes. I know this is named the world's longest suicide note, and I can't really back that. I don't know if it's going to end up being that. I just really want it to last a very long time. So I never have to write another suicide note because I've written five different suicide notes over the years when I was active in my attempts to end my life. And I will say this. It is very difficult to write a suicide note. It is some of the hardest things that I've ever done myself. Imagine going through, the pain, enough pain to where you want to end your life, and then having to write and tell people about that. And many people, had no idea what was going on. And so not only are you explaining, that you're not going to be here anymore, but you're trying to in a couple pages sum your whole life up and deal with whatever legacy you're leaving behind. I know that it was in my suicide note I wrote to my wife and to my sons, and I've very few times in my life have I done anything that hard. It is not easy to sit down and try to explain to people who will never understand why living with them wasn't enough to keep you alive. A couple pages aren't going to satiate the guilt that they will feel, the legacy of despair, and the example of suicide that you provide for them. Because I don't know what the numbers are, but suicide runs, mental illness runs in families. And knowing that you deal with that, and then the lasting example that you will leave is of leaving, of giving up. And that's hard because, being a father or mother and choosing that path, that's a tough thing. That's super tough. So I've unfortunately have read several suicide notes from folks who have been successful in their attempts, and I will tell you there's a common factor in most of the ones that I've read. There's some people who are just angry and sought to inflict emotional harm on people with their suicide notes. But but the one thing that's almost universal in Suicide Notes is a theme of love, and I know it was in the ones that I authored. Um, it was about love, the whole thing about, and the ironies continue to pile up because if there was that much love, why leave? Why throw it away, and make it on a choice? Why would you do that? And a couple pages, no matter how well thought out or written, isn't going to satisfy those questions at all. So yes, Suicide Notes are very hard to all the way around. They're hard to read. They're hard to write. And I will say this: if you're in a place where you maybe don't fully appreciate what you have, write a suicide note. And I don't mean in any way, shape, or form actually think about killing yourself. What I really mean to say is, imagine you are not going to be here tomorrow. What would you tell your family? What would you tell your friends? And I guarantee you'll feel a lot more grateful for what you have, if that would be the case. So yeah, it's really it's a horrible thing, to be put in that position, and I get it. We put ourselves in that position, but it's not because we're lazy or we're weak. We're tired. We're tired, and we deal with pain. Anyone who deals with chronic pain, understands now. And I don't deal with chronicle. I don't deal with the chronicle. I don't deal with chronic pain physically. I'm sure it would be horrible, and I'd never want to experience that, because I deal with chronic pain, mental pain, the kind that keeps you up at night, that where you never fully feel like you can enjoy life because the pain is around the corner. And so, I mean, I understand, but again, I think a lot of times if people were honest and had the ability to talk about what they were going through without fear of stigma, without fear of the image that comes with mental illness. We don't have to lose as many people as we do. If we were just the kind of society that would encourage conversations about these things, that would encourage people to seek help without repercussions. I mean, people who say I'm dealing with mental illness should be celebrated. They should be encouraged, and supported, instead of looked down upon and told, by and very few people in my life have called me a disappointment, who have said anything that personally about my struggles with my mental health. When when I talk to people about it, they are, by and large, very, very supportive and understanding, because we need to understand that mentally ill people make up over 40% of our population. And I think that's light. I think it's over 50%. That would be my take on it. With everything that's going on right now, that's something that needs to change. Is that people need to feel supported and protected when they're being honest about what's going on in their head. It's gonna stop a lot of suicide notes from actually happening. It's gonna stop them before they even go down that route. So this will not be the last time that I talk about this. This is an overarching theme. We got to talk, and not only do we have to talk, but we have to have the hard talks, and we have to allow people to be open and honest and transparent, and understand that that's not something that comes naturally. Especially about mental illness. Even people who want there to be a greater transparency, it takes. I've been suicidal for 25 years, and it's just been the last year that I've really been talking about suicide and my experience with that. Even though I've got a resume as far as this topic goes. So it takes time, and I understand that. But it's got to start somewhere, because I don't want someone else to have to read another suicide note and try to figure out why. Yeah. All right. Honestly, I was saying, next time I'll be, have a better topic, or it won't be so heavy. It's probably gonna be, because this is not. You can't sugarcoating this situation, this topic, anything to do with severe mental illness or suicide, it does a disservice to everybody. So we can't. We're going to keep talking about this stuff, and it's not going to be easy, and it may not be pleasant. But it's going to be important. So bear with me and stick with me, and we'll just keep moving forward. And give me 24 hours. Give yourself 24 hours. If you're in that place, if you're in if you're first seat of the struggle bus, understand that you're not alone. And give me 24 hours. We'll talk to you soon. Chapter 8 will be right around the corner. Take good care.